What's going on, everybody? You made it. How's everybody doing? Got a lot to go over tonight. Let's see. How's the mic right now? Everybody hear me okay? Looked like it was clipping there a minute ago. I don't want to blow you guys up. Yeah, Chris, there was no notice. There's something going on with... So basically I use OBS, which is like a streaming software. And, yeah, we're not going to turn the music all the way off, but I will lower it. Let me know how that is. Yeah, so I use OBS, and basically... you know, it has integrations with YouTube, and you know, if I set up a live stream on YouTube and then go to OBS, it won't pull it up, and vice versa. So there's something going on. So basically what I have to do is just tell you guys, hey, you know, get ready to find me live, basically. Yeah, I'm going to keep the music going just because I don't like the dead air while I'm reading comments or anything like that. I think it helps things be a little more fluid. So as I said, I do have a bunch of stuff to get into tonight. Yeah, Jolly Roger, that's awesome, man. Texas State Fair. You travel all over the place, don't you? Yeah, let's just get right into it. So, I'm gonna save one thing for until there's more people here, because you know, these live streams are a lot like church. There's like the crowd that shows up on time, and then there's the crowd that shows up like 20 minutes late. So we're gonna, you know, be gracious and wait for the late people to make an announcement here. So, first thing I want to jump into here. Oh, all right. DB, how's the audio now? Basically, what I'm seeing is it's telling me that I'm peaking, I'm in the red, I'm clipping. But if you guys are saying it sounds okay, then I'm going to leave it. All right, so first thing, now I don't have any details yet, but basically we are, and I say we because it's going to take a group of people, a team. I am putting together an in-person hangout for the Patreon members. It's definitely going to be when it's cold outside, because I am not going to go outside in Florida weather, you know, and just, you know, suffer in the heat. Not going to do that. But, so that is coming. That is coming. I'm figuring out a location and all that good stuff. So that's the first thing. Oh, Red Baron's here. Okay, Baron, while you're here, I need to talk about something that has to do with you. So, I saw on Baron's channel, let me share my screen here. So, Baron he posted on his channel the Swiss Army Knife Pioneer 2, I think this is. And, you know, I think he and I have very similar tastes. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. They happen to be on sale on Amazon. I think I got it for $40. I threw this little pocket clip on there so that it kind of indexes nicely in your pocket. And I've been carrying it for a couple weeks now. Man, I absolutely love it. Like, it has become just a favorite of mine. So yeah, in fact, I was worried that it was going to be a little bit too thick to really carry comfortably, but I'll tell you, man, it's been great. Especially with that, the pocket clip is the key. You got to have that thing indexed, kind of shoved back and sitting up straight. Because when you got a bunch of crap collecting at the bottom of your pocket, man, that's no bueno. So. Yeah, Jolly Roger, that is a heck of a retirement gig. That's awesome. Yes. Yeah, 45 ACP guy says, if y'all aren't part of Patreon, consider joining. It really is a wonderful group of people. Somebody messaged me the other day, and forgive me if you're here, I don't remember who it was. But they were like basically saying, man, you've done such a good job with this Patreon. And I'm like, man, it's just you guys. The guys are such quality people. And they're just great guys. So all I did was build it, and they will come, I guess. It's a great group of guys, though. We have a lot of fun talking, and, you know, it's good stuff. Yeah, you know, I will say, Baron, it's not my favorite either, but it's like the most useful. Like, if I want a knife, a proper knife, I'm going to carry like my Civivi Elementum. That's like my number one. Just because it's quick deploy, it's such a good blade, it's so sharp. You know, obviously the Swiss Army's a little slower to deploy, a lot slower, because you got to like unclip it from your pocket and, you know, fish it out of the housing and all that. But, you know, I don't know. That's not a defensive tool for me. I know there are people who carry knives as a defensive tool. I would say those people probably haven't actually seen a knife fight. Anybody know who wins in a knife fight? The answer's nobody. Somebody might die, but nobody wins. Yeah, clip is a must on a knife, absolutely. Yeah, DB, quality person here, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so Daniel Bird, he said he took time to look over the new Mark IV. The only flaw he's seen is the safety is just a little bit mushy. Yeah, so it may take more than just the spring and the plunger, man. Mine took a lot of work. And if you're on Patreon, I think you are, I put up a video about it. And yeah, Chris, as far as the Florida laws on auto knives, I have no idea. You know, I'm not a, like I said, I'm not a defensive knife guy at all. When I used to be in the fire department, I went on like 3 calls with knife fights, and I'm just telling you, man, we all would like to think we're like Jason Bourne with a knife. Nah. Nope. Yeah, absolutely. The camaraderie of the Patreon group is awesome, man. Honestly, every time I open the Patreon app and go to that chat, I'm stoked to see what I'm gonna read, man. Like, it's always so positive. There's not a bunch of like stupid competitive insecure stuff. Like, it's just everybody's legit like on each other's side, just enjoying this stuff, right? It's a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, that's something I'm really having to like clamp down on and kind of like push back on some people, not in the Patreon, on the YouTube channel, but just that, like, I don't like the bravado machismo thing, you know? Like, I'm not a competitive guy. I'm competitive with myself. I want to be a better version of myself, but all of the competitive bro stuff, that's not here. That's not the right channel for this. Alright, so let's jump over to the sharing screen again while we're talking about Colt Mark IVs. So I did want to update you guys. And by the way, is this not way better to look at than my face? Yeah, Chris Ferguson, that is absolutely the truth. I use my knife more for Amazon packages and UPS than anything else. So, update on the Colt. So, you know, you guys have kind of followed this journey. You know, it's going great. The gun has been 100% reliable. I've shot it a couple more times since those videos, and still 100%. But what I've noticed, because now I'm really getting to know the gun, and Daniel Bird, I'm literally about to answer that question, bro. You reminded me I need to talk about this, so thank you. So here's the deal. I like Daniel Bird said in the chat there, I'm noticing this, like, when I load it, and even when I fire, I can hear something's wrong. Like, it doesn't feed nicely. And I really tried to capture this in one of my recent videos. I think it was the Tisas versus Colt, where the Tisas, when you do a slide release, it just shoop. It is so fluid and smooth when you load those things. And then the Colt, it's just like ka-clunk. Like, it doesn't feel or sound good. So I did kind of a deep dive on the gun. Turns out, long story short, the extractor, the bottom left corner, and this is not a common problem, but it is a problem on factory 1911s. It's something that's so easy to fix. Guys, I'm not joking. It takes like 5 minutes to fix. And I don't know why factories don't just take 5 minutes and just use their eyeballs and look at it. But basically the bottom left corner of the extractor was catching on the cartridges as they feed. So I put a 45-degree bevel on that bottom left corner. Happy days. Thing feeds smooth as can be. That was the problem. The one and only problem. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll do an update video about it. I want to shoot it a lot more, though. Like, right now I only have like 250 rounds through it. Not a lot. Now, I'm not going to do some big burn down. You know, I don't want to beat the snot out of this gun, but yeah, it's going really well. Chris Chiampa, are you talking about the bushing, fit, and barrel on the Colt? Yeah, this is one of those things where I really wish that I could point the camera down on my desk here and show you guys this stuff. It's so frustrating that I can't do it. But yes, DB, it's the most work I've ever had to do on any gun, period, hard stop, to get it correct. And it's still not all the way there. Like this last round, I did a little bit of work on the disconnector on the top to get it to cycle the slide a little smoother. I had to scrub rust off of the face of the hammer. I don't know what that's about. I had to correct the angle on the thumb safety. I had to work on the extractor. Like, the guys that roll up in my comments and are like, Colt's better because it's Colt. I'm just like, bro, QC at Colt is non-existent. I'm pretty sure it's just a cardboard cutout of John Moses Browning in front of the door where they send boxes out. That's their QC. Yeah, Dan Wessons are great. So Dan Wessons, Kimbers, like some of the Kimbers and TRPs, they're all in that like mid-tier, how would you say, what do I say, semi-custom category. And that's where they do the work. Everything that I've done to the Colt, they do that, right? They work on the extractor, they do a disconnector. That you'll see that the disconnectors are usually rounded or just lowered in general. The slide to frame fits great, barrel bushing fits great. Like, yeah, they work on them. Yeah, Chris, if you're talking about my Colt needing a collet bushing, I've thought about it because the barrel bushing fit on that one's not great. It's the worst out of any 1911 I have right now. Like, it literally has play left and right. Thoughts on 38 Super 1911s? I mean, guys, I'm controversial on this. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but I just think 38 Super is super impractical. See what I did there? It's very expensive. It's not common at all. You can't just go to a gun store and pick it up. Unless you're reloading it, you've got a lot of materials to make it happen. I just think it's super. It's a what's the word? It's a novelty bullet. It doesn't have any benefit over 45. I'll tell you that. I don't. I think 38 Super is just for the people who like to say that John Moses Browning had that, first or something. Like, I don't. I've shot them. They're fine. JNF. No, man, I haven't tried your recommendation. Listen, guys, I'm at the point with this channel, and hold on, let me mute my mic before I do what I'm about to do. Alright, I had to adjust the mic because it was too high up, and it sounds like a dying dinosaur if I do that unmuted. So, in terms of recommendations, I am at the point where I just cannot do everything that people suggest, because I have Patreon messages, I have emails, X messages, Instagram messages, and then the thousands of comments on YouTube, and everybody has their thing that they're recommending. There's no way. I would need a $15 million a year budget to keep up with everybody's recommendations, man. And not sure if you guys know, I don't have that. There we go. Yeah, I agree. Daniel, the Mark IV is definitely, it's the prettiest gun that I have. It is, I mean, let's just go back. Look at it. Would you just look at it? It's beautiful. I mean, there's nothing to hate visually on the gun. Here's what I wish would happen. Total pipe dream. Total pipe dream right now. But we can dream, right? What I wish would happen is that, somehow Tisas would get the rights to Colt, and then they would start making 1911s for Colt. Now Colt's gonna say, and you know what? Here's the deal: if they started doing that and still made them blued, I'd pay $1,000 for them. Absolutely, I wouldn't even ask them to make them cheap. I would be like, great, awesome. Baroque Blues. He says, I want to get the new Colt navy blue 1911. Yeah. I think you're talking about the Royal Blue, or the 1911 Royal. Those are gorgeous. The only downside with those is, that is legit a safe queen, because that stuff is going to fingerprint. It's going to retain all the stuff on your hands, and if you don't go behind it and clean it, it's going to rust. That's the most beautiful kind of bluing, but it's you know, you'd have to keep up after it for sure. See you, Jolly Roger. Play a riff on your Paul Reed Smith. Maybe I will here in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that Renaissance wax. You know, I know a lot of people are really into that, and I think a couple guys on my Patreon are. They make their own, and you know, I've thought about it, but honestly, I just, you know, I have an oily rag on top of my safe. Every time I touch any of my blued guns, they just get wiped down real quick and put back. So I don't really have that long-term storage need. I don't do that. But I've heard it's good. Daryl P, I just ordered my third Tisas today. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Hey, did you guys see the sale? My favorite Tisas ever is on sale for $319. It's the historical Parkerized with the standard ejection port. Man, if I wouldn't have just bought something new, I would have got one immediately. But man, that's a good price. It's crazy how cheap that is. Sparky, yeah. It's tough, man, because like with the Colt, I really worry about like cracking the grips, and I know the day's gonna come. Okay, I already know, but I really dread the day that I put a scratch on this thing, and then I just have to live with it. Now, it is kind of breaking the ice. Once that happens, it's like, okay, now I can be a little bit more rough with it, but I'm not looking forward to that day. I'll tell you right now. Palmetto State Armory Baroque. You need to go buy one. $319. That is in the factory category. It's the best 1911 on the planet, hands down, in my opinion. Like, I would put that pistol up against this one, and I have. It's better than this Colt in every way for a fraction of the cost. It's insane how good the value is. Insane. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be more guns in the future. Like the Inglis High Power has been a highly requested one. It'll take time, guys. I mean, there's some stuff that I will spend money on, but for the most part, we're at the point now where the channel has to support the channel, because the stuff's expensive, man. It's definitely expensive. Grizzly, do it. Do it. Yeah. Alright, let me look at my other thing here. You guys want to talk about the new gun that's on the way? Who wants to hear about that? Yeah, Morty, you're absolutely right. There's that place when you get a new gun where it's like, it either needs to be pristine or beat in. The worst thing is having a pristine gun with one fat scratch on it. That's the worst, man. It's the worst. Yeah, Chris Mead, I agree with you, man. It's so like my Tisas historical, the one that you, which by the way, everybody should high five Chris Mead. He's the one who gave me the legit grip panels for my historical. But that one, it's got one scratch on it, and it's just like, it looks terrible. So I gotta shoot it. I gotta beat it up. Yeah, DB, the PSA's usually turning out their standard 1911s for like $300, which I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna buy another one. Just their standard like GI, not the standard ejection port one, like lowered ejection port and Cerakoted, for one reason. I love my blue Tisas, but I can't carry it anymore. It's too nice. So right now I am carrying my Kimber, which we should take a look at that. So I put this on Instagram. This is my daily carry package. Now this is just on my person. Maybe one day I'll do my full like what's in my truck kit, but that's what I keep on me every day, all day. Still wearing in the what do you call it, El Paso holster. Got the MVMT watch, Old Faithful. Zippo, very important challenge coin for me. Yeah, Swiss Army knife. Yeah, that's my daily carry. Of course, the beard comb, because, you know, it's a thing. JNF, he says, is it just me? In our time, everyone is on their Wonder 9 polymer pistol. I chose the 45 as the classic, true to itself, yet feels unique. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There's so many people that carry 1911s. We think that we are the weird ones. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us out there. The 1911, I mean, it's still one of the hottest selling pistols in the country, maybe in the world. There's more 1911s being produced and sold now than like ever. So they are still as relevant as they were 100 years ago. Yeah, Daniel, I went into my local gun shop today. They had a brand new Colt Delta Elite. Right out of the box, it was jacked up. Yeah. So that the hammer would fall forward with the slide. That's what I mean, man. Like they're so bad. You know, I don't know if you guys watched Eli Duckworth's video with Ken Hackathorn talking about Colts. Ken Hackathorn said that it's like they drug their sears on a curb. I think that's what he said. Like they're just so horribly done. It's crazy, man. Sorry if that's noisy, guys. This stand I have for my mic is terrible. Baroque Blues. So if it were me, if you're asking my personal preference, if I could pick one of those, it would be the historical. That one's parkerized and it has the standard ejection port. Now, if you're a reloader, that standard ejection port might bother you because it's going to beat up your brass. Now, if you want to carry it and you really want a gun that you can like sweat on and beat on, go with the A1, not the Tank Commander, just the regular A1. That one's Cerakote and it has a lowered ejection port. So that one, it's not going to beat up your brass if you care about that, and you can just sweat all over it. Don't worry about it. It won't rust. So, Felonious Proximity. That's a kind of a cool name. Can I ask why you went for the Kimber and not a Springfield? So, yeah, there's a couple companies out there doing the whole like two-tone thing, and really, it wasn't about this versus that. It wasn't about the Kimber versus the Ronin. It was more about like I had and I kind of still have a very bad opinion of Kimber. They are very finicky guns, and there's these time periods with Kimber where they really work or they really don't. Like they're really bad, and so the whole purpose I went with the Kimber was because I wanted to give Kimber another shot, and so I got one within a year range that people say was good, and turns out mine is excellent. It is a fantastic pistol. Now I will say, slightly controversial, Springfield's a good gun company. Okay, I want you to hear me out. Springfield's good, but until you get up into like the TRP range, Springfields are parts box guns. They're not super well fit. The triggers, the safeties are kind of crummy. But when you go with Kimber, one thing they really focus on is the whole gun is tuned up really nice. Like the thumb safeties, the triggers, the barrel bushing fit, slide to frame fit, like they're really good. But here's the thing. To me, it's such a risk with Kimber because first of all, you got to get one that works, and then second of all, in my opinion, you got to do a bunch of stuff to it. Like for me, I got rid of the full-length guide rod. It's got a different shoe on there. That's a Harrison medium, I believe. All new springs, new slotted grip screws because I hate torque screws. So to me, I had to like do some stuff to it. Anyway, well, that's a weird sound. Let me get rid of this commercial. There we go. So to me, I just think the Kimber's great, but the Ronin I'm sure is a great gun too. I'll be honest, I'm a little out of date with Springfield because the Springfields I'm used to are the early 2000s. That's where I cut my teeth on Springfield. Nowadays, they're just very different. Like now, I have held my buddy's Garrison, kind of just fiddled with it and did felt it up basically, and it was good. It was nice, but it still was kind of like okay, like kind of a parts box gun still, which is not bad. I just think for that money, I don't know, it's tough. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Todd B. Yeah, so on the hammer bite note, Todd B says, if considering a new Tisas, I prefer spending an extra few dollars and get the Tisas with modern features like beaver tail safety. So here's the deal. And this is a video that I would be really interested in doing. The Tisas version of this, they have that like two-tone gun that looks just like this, modern features, beaver tail, high-speed hammer, all that good stuff. I'd like to compare that to the Kimber. That would be cool because I think Tisas are excellent. I think they're just the number one 1911 company in the factory world. There's nobody doing it like them. Nobody. DB. Yeah, thanks. Nice Zippo, Chaos Bringer says. Yeah, so that Zippo, the other side has my initials on it, but my wife got me that when we got married, and I've carried it pretty much every day ever since. That challenge coin also has significance. I carry it with me every day. So, Michael Leftwich, yeah, they're great. And that's the way I say it, is they hit well above their weight class. A $300 1911 is better than a $1,000 Colt or somebody else. It's wild, man. So let me get caught up on the chats here. Yeah, Autistic Outlaw, the Kimber Custom 2. I would watch the date range. So mine, I think, is a 2020. I'm pretty sure. Either that or a 2021, somewhere on there. So, and mine's great. Whatever that's worth. Now, mine is a Yonkers 1911, not the new Alabama, I think is where they are now. So, just do your research there, man. I can't answer all those questions. Let's see. Dangerous Freedoms. I bought one of the first runs of the Ronin 1911s. It's still one of my favorites. That's great. That's great. Chris, it does kind of look like one of the Jeff Cooper guns for sure. Have you guys ever just sat down and watched like a full Jeff Cooper video, like one of the 45-minute ones? It's so good, man. Like, he knew what he was talking about. Somebody, I think that was DB, asked, how's the new job going? It's going great. It's going great. Yeah, I'm trying to read everybody's comments here. Yeah, the black Cerakote went on PSA too, man. Absolutely. Man, I just, pretty much anything from Tisas, like anything, they're all good. Especially when, like, you compare it to what they're kind of going after. So, like, let's say the Raider. Okay, compare the price between a Colt M45 versus the Tisas Raider. It's nuts. It's nuts, man. And the Tisas Raider is leaps and bounds better. Leaps and bounds better. Todd B, if getting a Kimber, get a Series 70. Not so. Okay, I'm actually going to push back on that a little bit. Like, I slightly disagree. Mine has the Series 80 system. What is it? The short system, and it's connected to the grip safety. Dude, I don't even know it's there. I have never once had the thought like, or thought about it being Series 80. It feels completely like a Series 70. It's not attached to the trigger. So for my mileage, it's only a benefit when it's attached to the grip safety. I think the short system is brilliant. Chris Mead, what's my opinion on 10mm 1911s? I don't like them. I'm just, man, I'm probably not the most fun YouTube guy, because once I find something I like, it's really hard for me to change, man. I've tried other calibers. I will say 9mm 1911s shoot really nice because there's just, it's just such a sweet shooting gun. But I don't know, I'm just a 45 guy. I love 45. Love 45, man. May the Schwartz be with you. That's good. That's good. Yeah, you can find Kiri's, good lord. You can find Kimber Series 1s when they were Series 70s from like the late 90s and early 2000s. You're going to pay for them and they're going to be ragged out. So, I don't know. I just don't think it's super worth it. Yeah, so I am super... I push back really hard against the idea that factory 1911s need a break-in period. Semi-customs absolutely do, which is kind of also why I bought a used 1911 and a used Kimber, because I don't want to spend 500 rounds of my money, of my bullets, to make the gun work, so I let somebody else do it. Okay, while we have enough people here, I want to make a little bit of an announcement. So, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So, what I've kind of become known for is 1911 Spring Guy. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it happened. And so, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. And I'm going to be giving away a spring kit, 16-pound recoil spring, 23-pound mainspring, a Wilson Combat bulletproof leaf spring. I'm also going to be giving away in the package 2 Springfield Armory 7-round mags, my favorite mags. I'm going to be giving away a little thing of lubrication, basically my big 3 to how to make a 1911 work right. And there will be a few other goodies in there. It's going to be about $100 value. And what I'm going to ask people to do is go to my Instagram, follow me there. I'm going to make a post about it once I have the kit put together. And basically, if you follow me on Instagram and you like that picture, you're entered in. That's it. So stay tuned for that. Go follow me on Instagram. So yeah, I'm gonna put some other goodies in there. Maybe a knife or something like that. Like, I'm gonna try to make it worthwhile. But it is definitely a 1911 nerd kit. I think it's kind of funny. But like, it's something I would be excited about. So there we go. Probably like Tuesday, I'll make that live on Instagram. Chris Chiampo, what's your favorite pump action shotgun and rifle? That's a good question. So pump action, really easy, is Remington 870. I know the classic guy move would be to say a Winchester 1897, but I don't have one of those, and also, even if I did, I wouldn't want to thrash on it too hard because those are like pieces of history. So, Remington 870, I think they're America's shotgun. They're fantastic. Yeah. So that would, in fact, do I have a picture of mine? Let me see. I do. There's mine. That's my favorite shotgun in the whole world, man. From a functional level too. Wait, did I switch over? I didn't. I'm a moron. There it is. Yeah, I love this one because it's Parkerized, so it's I can beat up on it, and I have. And then I found these old wood stocks from 1970 something, and kind of refurbed them just a little. They're still pretty beat up. Clear coated them just a little with a water-based poly, and yeah, she's a faithful thumper, man. Love that one. So rifle, that's a good question. That's tough. There's a few. I'm not going to pick one. Definitely in competition for first place is my Winchester 1907, which there's going to be more videos coming out on that one. I'm going to be shooting that one soon. And probably that's a nice dovetail into the next topic. I think I asked who wants to hear about the new gun. So nobody said yes, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So hang on a sec. My pictures are all screwed up. Stand by. Okay, there we go. So the new gun that's on the way is... Oh, it doesn't fit in the frame. Winchester 1892. So this is without a doubt one of my favorite guns. And this one's going to be chambered in 4440 because that's what my single action army is chambered in. So this is a new production, and it is one of the ones you can see up here. It's made by Moroku in Japan for Winchester. Now here's the deal. A lot of people were like, oh, you got to find like a pre-64, and you got to find this, and you got to find here. Okay, here's the deal. The problem when you buy a historical gun is it's not the gun that you want to grab, stomp out in the woods, sit in a tree stand while you're getting rained on, and wait for a deer. That's not the gun you want, right? You're going to destroy a piece of history. I use my guns. I don't own Safe Queens, not one, right? And even my Colt, it kind of is, but I still shoot it. In fact, I did carry it concealed once already. So I want something that I'm actually gonna like beat up on. Now, I don't like a lot of modern production stuff because it's crap, like the Colt issue, right? But these Moroku guns are really well built, really well built. I got to hold one a few years ago, and I was super impressed with just every little thing, man. There's so much attention to detail. So that's what is on the way. Now, I don't think mine has the ring. This is just one of their stock pictures. But look at that, man. So these are really well built. It's something that I'm not worried about thrashing, and it's also something that I feel comfortable, owning for a lifetime, right? Now, some people also will throw a fit about that safety right there. It doesn't bother me. I just ignore it. It's unobtrusive, and frankly, here's the thing too. If you've ever been sitting and waiting, like, you don't want to go racking your lever action when you're trying to be quiet, right? So it actually is kind of a move to have the hammer cocked, have everything chambered, flick that safety on. That's a really nice way to stay ready. So anyway, there you go. Now let me catch up on the chats here. Sparky, I feel you. That's why I bought some of my Dan Wessons used. Yeah, man. Same thing like a TRP. I tell everybody, just buy used. Buy used. Save yourself hundreds of dollars, and it's gonna, it's gonna work. Lucius Mirkwood, that's the initiation package for Patreon. It's true. It's true. Let's see. Chris said, "What if I'm not on Instagram?" I don't know what to tell you, dude. You gotta make one. Listen, Instagram's great in the gun side. They used to really crack down on that stuff, but now since nobody uses Meta products anymore, it's just like a bunch of people looking at pictures of their grandkids. They want people back, and so they've loosened up on that. Especially with the political climate, what it is, they've loosened up a lot. Daniel said, "My Garrison is decent, but I have to have the slide blended." I thought I read bended, like bent. I was like, why are you bending your slide? Enormous amount of overhang. So here's the thing: that overhang issue is not always a blend issue. It could be the I'm afraid to show that on live stream. Basically, the lugs on the barrel lug, those little feet, the two little feet, you can file those down and reduce them to a certain point. You don't want to go too thin, and that will bring the slide forward. But that's good if you got it done. DB, that's cool, man. Yeah, send me a message later and we'll talk about that, about the goodies. Yeah, so let's jump back to my 870. Did I ever tell you guys about my 870? So, funny story. I went on Gunbroker, and there was one of those police, auctions or whatever. I got this shotgun for $180. It had never been fired. It was brand new, stickers on it, in the box. Basically, it sat in a police closet, like some gun locker, and never got fired. So I got a brand new 870 for $180. Hey, thanks, Baron. Always good to hear from you, bro. Mikoki, how you doing, buddy? Chris, I've always been told in regards to the Series 80, it's not a bad idea to have a pistol that won't shoot you in the butt if you drop it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a non-issue, but there's always that chance, right? And so for me, the only way I would carry a Series 80, and I do, is if it's shorts. I think it's the best system, hands down. Now, some people have made I think, a little bit of a silly argument that, like, yeah, but when my gun gets dirty, that short system jams up. Dude, clean your gun. Why are you shooting that much and not cleaning your gun? That's silly. Chris Reeves, that's the comment of the night right there, man. Don't sell your guns, folks. You'll regret it later. That is a fact. I don't sell guns anymore. Well, it's very rare. It's like this year I haven't, and actually in 2 years I haven't at all. But it's true. I can't think of a gun that I was happy to let go. That you always end up coming back to it later and just going, God dang it. And sorry, I have to chew on cough drops. I had the crud a couple weeks ago, and my voice, I'm trying to take care of my voice so I make it through this. All right. Daryl P says he has the commemorative 1892 with the big loop and 4440. That's great, man. I love 4440. It's such a legendary cartridge, and I know a lot of people like it, but everybody wants 45 long Colt, and I'm like, I get it. It is a better cartridge in terms of power by a little, but man, the 4440. Can we nerd out on 4440 for a minute? I don't even know if I can do this on live stream. I can't do it. Hold on, let me see if I can show you a picture. Alright, so I'm going to show you why I think 4440 is innovative. I gotta pull up a picture. If I hold one in my hand, we'll get nuked on this live stream, but if I just show you a picture of it, I won't. It's so ridiculous. Alright, this is not the best. No, that's a terrible picture, actually. This one's better. Stand by. Okay, so a 4440, it kind of necks down a little bit near the end. Now, this is a pretty dramatic neck down. Let's see, that looks like against a 45 long Colt. But yeah, you can see how it necks down. Now, why does that matter? Well, what you tend to have in revolvers and guns in general is what's called blow-by, which is where when the gun fires, you have burnt powder, just ignition, soot, everything come around the case and go towards the rear of the gun, right? Particularly on a straight wall cartridge. But those necked down cartridges, what's really interesting about them is when they fire, they expand into the chamber, and the chamber is necked down, and it allows less blow-by to go back because it has to go around that curve. So you catch a lot of blow-by right at that neck joint. So it's actually, especially when you're shooting black powder back as they were when they first came out, this was a really cool thing because it kept all the powder going forward. That's why they neck those down. They don't do that just because it's cool. It actually has a purpose. So I think 4440 is a really cool bullet or cartridge. Chris Chiampo, very good rifle. Does it have the traditional half-cock? Yeah, it does. Now, it has both. It has half-cock and the post-64 safety. Now, the half-cock, I don't think functions the same as it did before, but it technically does have a half-cock, I'm pretty sure. Let Let me get caught up here. I'm way behind on the chat. American Bald Guy brought my first 1911 home today. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. I recommend new Ruger Marlins. They are fantastic. Are you talking about lever actions? You must be. That was a stupid question. So I don't have a picture of it, but I had, and you guys, if there's like a middle finger emoji, get ready to throw it at me, okay? I had a 1972 gold trigger JM marked Marlin 3030 near mint condition that I got for $300, and I traded it. I'm not even going to tell you what I traded it for. It's terrible. But that 3030, I literally could hit shotgun shells at 75 yards. Rested, albeit. Not standing. That's a little tough. But yeah, man. Oh, I can't believe I let that go. That was such a good rifle. David Weathers, have you considered doing another project like the Cimarron on a different make? Absolutely. That's going to happen again. You know, I love doing that stuff. I absolutely love just building 1911s. Yeah, Chris Ferguson got me. He hit me with that middle finger. I deserve it. That's awesome. But yeah, I love, man, I considered trying to start a business doing that, but I'm just not that good. I'm good enough for me, but I'm no expert. Oof, that one hurts. Second gen single action army. Oof, that one hurts. Dangerous Freedoms. 4440 was the round that won the West. The average person couldn't afford multiple cartridges back in the day. Yeah, it worked in both. It was the first universal cartridge, widely available. It's said that more deer have been killed with 4440 than any other cartridge in history besides the 3030. Yeah. Yep. Stacy Morris, you add to that the 4440 was originally as a rifle round. That's correct. In fact, wasn't it originally in the 1866? I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was originally a round for the 1866. I could be wrong. But yeah. Yeah, Sparky, you're absolutely right, man. The good old days where things were engineered for reason, not for style. Yeah, I mean, there's just a character and a life and a vibrance and a beauty and a pragmatism that old guns have. Just new guns don't have that. They just don't. Everything's cheap and aluminum and disappointing and fragile and crappy. Just man, old guns, they're just the best. Autistic Outlaw, are you a revolver guy at all? Absolutely. Yeah, 45 ACP guy just answered that. I've got a single action army, which I can pull up a picture of. I do have a picture of it. Well, yeah, basically I have a Uberti single action army 7.5 inch in 4440, which I love. I love that gun. I've got 5 black powder revolvers. I've got a Smith & Wesson 642 snub nose revolver. Another revolver that's going to be in my future is a 44 Magnum Smith & Wesson 629, I think. I want to get one of those new Smith & Wesson mountain revolvers. Those are really slick, man. Yeah, American Bald Guy, what did you get? You gotta tell us, man. We're excited. So while you're typing that out, because I know there's a little delay, so some other stuff I've got coming up. So I reload 4440. I love that cartridge. It's probably my favorite besides 45 ACP. And so I'm going to be trying out some new loads here. My normal load for 4440 is 8 grains of unique unique gunpowder using a 200 grain lead bullet, just flat round tip flat nose. The primers are Remington. I don't get into like PSI and all that. I kind of look at the minimums and maximums, and I kind of pick somewhere in the middle in terms of the load data. But I'm going to be trying out a new recipe here. I've got tight group gunpowder. So I've got a 5.5 grain load, a 5.8 grain load, and a 6 grain load. I'm going to be testing out with both the new 1892 and the Single Action Army probably next weekend. So stoked about that. And I also bought like 4 more pounds of tight group because I have a pretty sizable amount of unique, but I'm running it down. I love unique. It's my favorite gunpowder for anybody who reloads. But it's impossible to find. They do limited runs of it, and when it becomes available, they're gone immediately. And so I've been looking for an alternative powder, and I don't want to get one that's like Accurate number 5. I have a bunch of that. Super dirty. Unless you like really charge that stuff pretty high, it doesn't burn all the powder up, and so you get a bunch of granules all in your gun. I don't like that stuff. I'm trying to use it and burn through it, literally. But so I'm looking for an alternative to unique that's available and doesn't cost so much money. And tight group is interesting to me because you use a lot less powder for the same effect, and particularly a lot of guys with cowboy action loads seem to really like it. I mean, they're getting away with 5 grains of tight group and getting good pressures with that. A lot of guys that want like legit loads, not cowboy action light stuff, but legit loads, are going like 6.2 grains. So 6.2 is very little. My math right now tells me that I can get somewhere around 1,000 rounds out of a pound of tight group for 4440 at that rate, which is great. That's really solid. So, yeah. Yeah, DB. So, DB said, I hear there have been some QC issues with the Smith & Wesson mountain guns. Yes, there are. So that's this last weekend, or a few days ago, when I bought the Winchester, which it'll be here Wednesday, by the way. I don't have it yet. I was tossing it back and forth between a mountain gun and the Winchester, and the only reason I went with the Winchester is, one, my channel's super pistol heavy, and also I've been wanting a rifle, a lever action. I mean, I have my Henry Golden Boy, but I want like a proper one. But it was competing against the Smith & Wesson. I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait on that, and eventually I hope they'll remedy some of the issues. But Autistic Outlaw, that's so funny, man. I've never heard it called the Hillary hole. That's so funny. Oh man, that is legit hilarious. Oh man. Yeah, the 627's great, man. The 629s, particularly, I want a 44 Magnum. I just feel like that's the one, man. That's a thumper. I like big bullets, and I cannot lie. Let me get caught up here. Lucky me, John says, lucky me, I just finished season 3 of Justified. Now I get a live show. Awesome. Glad you're here, man. Speaking of TV, that's something that I'm gonna do a video on. I can't decide if I want to make it a live stream or an actual video, but I want to talk about my favorite guns in movies. I think that would be a lot of fun. David Sloan says, I got to shoot my great uncle's Colt 1911 in 1955. I was 6. Been in love with the pistol and the cartridge ever since. Boy, what an introduction. That's fantastic. Yeah, my little boy's 5. And he's so into it, man. He's just really young. Like, I've let him, I'll load like a single chamber in my black powder, like my 36s. Those are so light recoil. I've got a video of him shooting that literally by himself, and he controls it beautifully, and loved it. He's so into it, but he's so small, so it's hard for him to really do much. But yeah, Stacy Morris. I know what you mean. All those police trade-ins, they're out there though. Joseph Crum. Okay, I need to hear more from you. You said, I've been using tight group in my 4440 6.2 grains with a 200 cast. Works superb. What kind of, have you chronographed that? Because here's my thing. I don't want to there's a spectrum, right? You have the minimums, which gets you like plinking cowboy loads, and then you've got like plus P feeling like really hot stuff. I don't want to go there, but I want a proper like thumping 4440. I'd like to be around that like 1100 feet per second range. I don't want to go too fast because then you start to lead your barrel up, but I just want to know, have you chronographed with the 6.2 of tight group? I'd love to see kind of where that's falling. Yeah, the 642 is a Florida gun, fits in short pockets. 845 guy says, that's right. When I'm running to the gas station to like grab a drink in my shorts and flip-flops, that's the one. With 2 Bianchi speed clips in my left pocket. I got 12 rounds extra on tap. Mateo Lizonzo says, love the powerful bullets better, armor piercing and explosive ammo. Yeah. I mean, you fighting vampires, man? What you got going on? Mikoki, how much does it cost to get into reloading ammo? Oof, that's a big question. So, I might have a picture here. Stand by. Okay, so let me show you guys this. So this is my office. So my desk where I'm talking to you right now is to the left of this. Basically, I just moved my reloading bench into my office because, I don't know if you guys know, but Florida, it's like living inside somebody's mouth. It's miserable. And so I have a workshop, but there's no AC in it. And so I've been reloading for 13, 14 years in the heat, and I'm just done with it. And anyway, I realized I can fit my bench in there, so I moved it. And I've been using the same kit for all these years. Nothing's changed. And so basically, here's what you need at a basic level. So I would go look up the RCBS Rock Chucker kit. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. The Rock Chucker kit from RCBS. Right now, I'm pretty sure these are on sale for $500. And basically you get your press, you get a powder measure, this little weight scale over here, you get some shell holders, you get your powder dispenser. Like, it gives you some of the basics to get started, but you're still going to have to buy these guys over here, which is your reloading dies. I really like Lee dies. Now, they used to make carbide dies. Carbide is the best. I don't know if they make them anymore. Basically, I would plan on spending probably between $700 and $800 to get into it, and that's like everything. That's like primers, powder, everything. It's not cheap, but if you do it at volume, it can be worth it. Now, here's the thing. It used to be more affordable. So just to give you an idea, I don't know if you guys can see. That's my gunpowder sitting under there. You see that right there? That jug right there, which is 4 pounds of accurate number 5. I bought that jug 12 years ago, and it was $80. That same jug is like $300 now. The primers are the same thing. They're wildly more expensive, and it's all because of regulation. So it's hit and miss. Honestly, if you're reloading 45, it's kind of not worth it anymore because ammo's coming down. 9mm, it's definitely not worth it anymore. But if you're using something like I do, like these 4440s, these cowboy loads, absolutely worth it. Absolutely. You're gonna pay like $1.50 a round to buy factory 44 Winchester. Pew Pew Archive says, you aware of what the radius on Tisas is for adding a beaver tail safety? So it really depends on what brand beaver tail you're going to buy. Here's what I recommend. If you're going to get an Ed Brown beaver tail, you need to get an Ed Brown jig to, sorry, give me one sec here. So if you're going to do an Ed Brown beaver tail, you need an Ed Brown jig. And the reason is, you know, it's going to be round on the back, perfectly round. Man, I wish I could show you guys this stuff. In fact, no, I don't have it out, never mind. Sometimes brands are different, right? You would like it if it was just a perfectly round male side and the female side just would made up no matter what. But the diameter can be bigger with certain jigs versus the beaver tail you bought. So you want to try to match the brand, do your research, but not all of them are the same. I would not go into it thinking there's one radius, because there isn't. Tom Jefferson, all gun owners need to vote for the most pro-gun candidates. Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to be a one-issue guy. Now I'm very picky. But guns, if I only had to pick one, that would be it. That's the one. And absolutely, we have the numbers on our side. Kennard Lang, RCBS, learned reloading on a single stage with my father. Absolutely, man. Like, listen, this single stage, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to get a multi-stage and a, auto-rotating and blah, blah, blah. Listen, I can crank out about 100 rounds in an hour and 20 minutes. For my personal use, I've never felt like it needs to go faster. And on top of that, the accuracy that I have with my cartridges is like perfect. It's perfect. Not that I get super into that. I'm pretty crude, and like, especially with 45 ACP. I've got overall lengths in one batch that are like, they vary pretty wildly. But I've just never, the ability to be supremely accurate on a single stage is just unparalleled. Yeah, Kennard, that's right. He said I would only reload weird or expensive ammo. That's pretty much what it's relegated to nowadays. Um, Kevin Smith said, I have an ancient Dillon XL650. Heck yeah. Yeah, I knew a guy with like 6 Dillons, and he was trying to do this like as a job. And he had them like set up, and with the you can get the little motors to put on top of them, so they automatically do their thing. And he was cranking out some ammo. Seen a guy who had success with a Smith and Alexander setup. Came out well for him. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I just, for me personally, I have always just tried to match brand with brand, because they all like to do that, right? They all like to sell their own jigs, so that you buy their product, and I don't like to risk it like that. Donald Hay said, I'd like to thank you for the Tisas reviews. I picked up my first Tisas 9mm Stingray. That's a cool gun. Paired with a Hunter pancake holster that's breaking in now. Awesome, man. That's great. Have you shot it yet? That Stingray's a good looking gun, man. I've looked at those quite a few times. Mikoki, what's up with the SA-35? So, good question. I have a cylinder and slide extractor coming. I decided to forego sending it to Springfield. I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that. It's my gun. I don't care. I want it to be done right, because what's going to happen is they're going to put another MIM part in there, and in another 1,000 rounds it's going to break again, and I want it to be correct. So I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to document it. It should be in Monday, so you'll see a video later next week on that. Yeah, 45 ACP says he broke it. That's true, I did. But it got right to that, like, what did I say, like 1,100 rounds or something, 1,200 rounds? Yeah, 1,200. And that Joker just sheared right off, man. It was wild. I had a few friends there with me, and I just got through telling them how reliable this gun's been, and then it's like, boom, freaking failure to extract, and I clear it, boom, failure to extract, and I look back at them, and they're just like, all right. That's great, Donald. I'm glad you're liking it, man. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, normally, like, with Colt, the only reason I sent the gun back to them is because I wanted a new barrel. I don't want to buy a new barrel, right? But with this one, I really just wanted to, I wanted to do it right, because I don't trust them to do it. Because here's what I know is going to happen. They're just going to put another MIM part in there. It's not hand-fitted. I just don't believe that. And the same thing's going to happen, so. I'm putting together another video that's going to involve this book. So I don't know if you guys know, but I buy books to back up what I'm saying. I try to. I'm not always completely accurate, but I try to be educated. And while we're talking about the high power, I'm currently in the middle of reading Chapter 3, The High Power, FN's Most Famous Handgun. And it talks about, like, because there's a bunch of people who think, and it's very strange, there's people who are like, John Moses Browning didn't make that gun, it was Suave, or whatever his name is. They're wrong. Now, he had a part in it. He had a big part in it. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's a picture of him right there holding it. Suave or Save or Saivi, I don't know how to say his name. But I'm looking at the patent documents. It says John M. Browning or J.M. Browning. And it goes on to say in here that basically Suave, whatever his name is, was responsible for taking the pistol home, finishing the design, and he was responsible for the idea of the high-capacity magazine. But John Moses Browning designed the base gun. After John Moses Browning died, Suave basically made a couple attempts with the I think it was the French, yeah, the French trials. They didn't make it very well, and so he made a few other changes. But basically, after, I think it was in 1927, the 1911 patent expired, and so FN was like, hey, go steal a bunch of ideas from the 1911 now that the patent's expired. And so they brought over a bunch of 1911 design angles and pieces and parts to the high power, and then attached Browning's name to it, so it looked like a 1911. It had 1911 components. John Moses Browning started the design, and then they marketed it that way, and it was much more successful that way. So Suave definitely deserves a ton of credit, but it's like, it's dripping with John Moses Browning designs, and the fact that people say he had no part in it is insane. It's insane, man. But I don't know how interested in history you guys are like I am, but to me it matters. Tom Jefferson, 1911 magazines, Checkmate. Yeah, Checkmate, Springfield, or Kimber. I don't have any around me, but they're all made at the same factory. Those are my preferred. DB, Tisas sells parts on their website now too. And listen, guys, Tisas, those parts are excellent. I've bought several thumb safeties. They're great, and they're forged. Like for $35, a legit old school thumb safety that's forged. Nobody else is doing them for that price. Thomas Jefferson, paper books cannot be hacked. That's correct. That is why I buy paper books. That is why I have all of these. This is a real vintage 1911 manual, right? And then I've got 3 more 1911 manuals. Not so much I'm worried about them being hacked, but you know, if it's digital, people can screw with it and you'd never know that it changed. So I'm a book guy. Yeah, Mateo, I love those gunsmith books. Absolutely, man. There's so many great books that I don't have, that I want to buy, and also I need the time to read them. I don't have all that time, so. Fabrique Nationale, that's right. Yeah, I think I've seen that video, Makoki, from BH Springs. Yeah, it's really good. 45 ACP guy, P30 or 45C? 45C all day. That's a fantastic pistol, and I regret selling mine. I had the full size, the 45 full size, and the C. The C is just so good. It's so good, man. That's the truth. Mateo, you gotta be careful saying that stuff. Somebody asked me that in the comments once. They're like, what happens if you do da-da-da-da-da to the disconnector? I'm like... Salty Cheese, that's a good name right there. I just picked up a CMP 1911. Should I change the recoil spring? Yes. Absolutely. Listen, recoil springs increase. They are so good for the health of your pistol. Not just the reliability, especially if you're saying it's a CMP, if I'm guessing that means a real vintage 1911. Listen, that 1911 needs a fresh spring. It's going to increase the life of the gun, absolutely. Um, it is only an enabler. New springs are only a good thing. What is my opinion on the new FN high power? It doesn't draw me. I mean, I'm not like a super high power guy. I think they're great. And anytime somebody says, "Hey, what do you think of a 9mm 1911?" I'm like, I like my high power. Which, on that note, I gotta research this, but I think I read, and please listen, I could be wrong on this, so I'm admitting that up front. But I'm pretty sure I read that the original high power actually had a barrel bushing. I wish that would have stayed because the barrel fit in the slide on my SA-35. I don't like it. It's not a great fit. Salty, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Colt upper and Rand lower. Awesome. The Colt, if you got to pick a combination, the Colt slide is the one you want, especially if it's got the markings. You want the markings. You want that pony. Yeah, I would absolutely put a new recoil spring in it. 16 pounder. 17 doesn't hurt. I stick with 16 as much as I can. That's a properly spec'd spring. But 17 might not be a bad idea to reduce just a little bit of that rearward slam if you're going to shoot it. Stacy, do you have any thoughts on the CZ-75? I don't. I'm not a CZ guy. They don't grab me. I know a lot of people really like them, but I've never been into them really. Yeah, Mateo, we're with you. Yeah. Tom Jefferson, recoil springs for full-size 1911s, I found 18 works. Yeah, 18's not bad. I got to make a video about this because a lot of people say like, well, Bill Wilson says 18. Well, Bill Wilson, I got a lot of thoughts about him. Now, nobody recommends his products more than me, except for maybe him. I'm a big fan of what he does, but that doesn't mean I think everything he says is correct. And basically, you got to think about springs in two ways. You have the recoil to the rear, and then you have the return to battery. 18.5 is great for the rear when it's going backwards because it does reduce recoil. But here's the problem. If you're using slightly lighter ammo, you might not get a full cycle to the rear. Here's another problem. That's a lot of force going back forward. And so if you have, let's say, a bullet that's not really well crimped, like factory ammo often isn't, that bullet can get set back when it slams into the feed ramp, getting pushed too hard, and now you can create a jam, or that bullet gets set back into the case, and now you have an increase in pressure. And these things have happened to me. I tried the 18.5s. Now, it's a little more rare. I'm not saying it's super common, but I think 16 has been working for over 100 years, and then all of a sudden we're going to say that's the one. It'd be different if somebody invented that gun last week, and I'd say, okay, we're figuring it out. But to quote Ken Hackathorn, if it was a problem, they would have figured it out in 1912, and I agree with that. DB, I've moved most of my polymer stuff. I can't give up my G41 and G21 high cap 45s are sweet. Yes, so I know a guy, giant dude. This guy's like 7'3", and he's just this massive like linebacker built guy, and he carries concealed a Glock 21, but it looks like a freaking little pocket rocket in his hands, man. He's such a big dude. Daniel Bird, have you heard about the hammer rusting issue that Dan Wesson has been having? No, but my Colt was having that issue. So that's interesting because CZ owns Dan Wesson and Colt. I'd like to know what's going on. But yeah, the face of my hammer was rusted like reddish, blackish brown. It was terrible. I had to take my Dremel tool with a wire brush and scrub it off. It was frustrating. So I'm having the same issue. Pistol Pete 63, I changed all the springs on my Tisas as you recommended and have 200 rounds through it since, and it's working great. Thank you. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, listen, 16, again, I think about how many revisions the 1911 went through before it got adopted, and then think about the changes that were made in the first 4 years. Because there were changes, right? The sights were a change, the finishes were changed, there were other little things. And then you get to the A1s, how many changes were made. And then you fast forward like 50 years. At no point in that history did anybody change the recoil springs. They stayed 16-pound spec the whole way through. So, you know, I just don't think... I don't like to mess with what works, you know. I'm not saying it's awful. I'm not saying it's a stupid idea. I don't want to sound overly critical, but I just wonder, you know. But I guess if you're using like plus P's, like Chris Mead just says, I use 18.5 with plus P's, that makes sense. Because listen, at the end of the day, you have the dust cover on your slide slamming into your spring guide and the frame, right? It's just boom, boom, boom. It's slamming those. Now, it's made to do that. It's okay. But if you've got an older gun particularly, you really got to take care of that. And so if I have to pick one, beat my gun up harder or play with reliability, I'm going to preserve the gun. So I'm not saying it's always bad, but I just haven't found it to be a need. Yeah, Salty, 16 pounds is my recommendation for full size, yes. I'm not talking commanders. I don't really do commanders yet. I will for the channel, but full size guns, absolutely, 16 pound all the way. And no flat wire. Stay away from the flat wire. Don't get me started, man. I'm such an anti-flat wire guy. No dual recoil systems, just leave it. And also, ISMI, chrome silicon, not necessary. Just regular old carbon steel recoil springs. Nothing fancy. They've been working for way too long. Morty, new Colt also has the hammer rusting issue. Yeah. My Colt, I pulled the hammer back one day and the whole face is just like reddish brown. I'm like, what is this? So I scrubbed it off with my my Dremel, and I haven't checked on it since. I need to go look at it actually, but I didn't like that, man. It's very weird. Yeah, that's why we're all here, to get you started ranting. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm going to try a commander. I'm probably going to get that Tisas tank commander, because I want one that works. I'm not going to buy some, like, I'm going to say ugly things about some brands. If you own this, nobody get their feelings hurt. But, like, I'm not going to go buy, like, an ATI. I'm not going to buy, like, an Arms Corps made commander. I'm not doing it. I am not interested in personally purchasing guns for the channel that aren't going to work, because now I'm stuck with them. So I'm just super not into that. Um, yeah, but I'll try a Commander. I'll try one. I just, you know, what do you gain? Like a couple ounces? It's a little bit lighter. I just don't really think they're super worth it. Yeah, 45 guy. I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to set up like a Patreon range day for Patreon members. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm just trying to figure out where to do it. I'm thinking about one place that's kind of close to me. It's like a big open air range. So yeah. And it's got like a 500-yard rifle range. They have stalls you could rent out, and that's what I'm thinking about doing, is like trying to rent out an entire pistol stall for us, just to hang out. In fact, 45 guy, if you look up, I think it's called Trey's. It's in like Leesburg, maybe. That's where I'm thinking about looking at. Yeah, my biggest thing is I'm not going to an indoor range, and the places I normally shoot are private property, and so I feel weird about that. I think if that was my property and somebody showed up with like 20 dudes, I'd be kind of pissed. But I also want us to be able to just have a good time and not have somebody breathing down our neck, and so that's what I'm looking into. Yeah, DB Leesburg, yeah. Aries, that's it. That's the one. It used to be, I think the guy who owns its name is Trey. I went to it when it was literally just one big field with steel all over it. Now it's like a whole deal. Like they got a 1,000-yard rifle range, and they've got like buildings built, and it's, yeah. Now, okay, 45 says indoor and AC. I'm not doing an indoor range. I have a lot of reasons for that. But I'm going to plan this when it's cold outside. When it's like 50 degrees during the day here in Florida. That's when I want to do this. Daniel, does my Mark IV have any slide overhang? Yes, it does. Unfortunately. It's very little, but it's there. That's something I'll correct one day, but yeah, this is a Floridian through and through. 45 ACP, 45 guy just pretty much said it. We literally get like 2 days of cold weather, and that's when I'm going to plan it, so y'all better be ready. I'm going to be like, hey, next week, the forecast says we're going to get like a light breeze and it won't be 900 degrees. Let's go. No, it'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. I just think that'd be a lot of fun to have everybody get together, and there's a couple really good places to eat around there, so we can go get food after that. It'd be cool. Yeah, Kennard, are you in Florida too? Yeah, it snowed earlier this year up in the Panhandle, I'm pretty sure. We almost drove up there just to go see it. My kids have never seen snow, so. Yeah, I'm going to try to plan it far enough ahead that I just want to make sure as many people that want to go can go. Yeah, DB, I live for the fall and winter. I'm a long sleeve guy. I like wearing my flannels, boots. I like clothes. I don't like wearing the bare minimum so you don't just suffer and die. So man, when that cool weather comes, I couldn't be happier. I will literally spend sun up to sundown outside all day. All day. I'm an outside guy. And the gel test, yes. Yeah, maybe that's when we could do that. And it's good to see you too, Guile. I think that's how you say your name. Yeah, it's probably going to be January. Well, no, it'll probably be February. So I have a lot of children. Number 5 is on the way, and it's due on Christmas, so it'll be sometime after that for sure. Sparky, just, start now. Start a GoFundMe. Salty, yeah, I live in Florida. Yes, no bugs, man. I love it. Augusta, yeah. I've got family in Georgia. That's where all my family's from. Oh, well, the majority. Yeah, Guile, I guessed right. That's good. I was going to say Guile just to mess with you, but... Yeah, if it ends up being... Well, here's the thing. The only way I'd go out to private land if it's like 3 of us. Because these are people that I go to church with, and like I care about their relationship and like us being good more than anything. So I don't want to threaten that. Not to lose the shooting opportunity, but just because I care about them. So yeah, I just pressure washed my whole house today, and the bugs were everywhere, man. It was terrible. Yeah. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. It's been almost 2 hours. That's wild. It went fast. But yeah, man, I really appreciate everybody here. I think we had at one point like 60 people. So good turnout. And yeah, keep an eye out. Set you up on Instagram, man, if you want to join in on that giveaway. I'll be putting that up next week, a picture for you to go and like, and then we'll do the giveaway probably the following week to give everybody time, make sure everybody's got in there. So but yeah, appreciate you guys, man. It was really fun. Always enjoy talking to you. And yeah, you guys are awesome. So until next time, I will see you later. Y'all take care.